The Frameshift Drive Interdictor is an optional module that can be used to pull other ships from Super Cruise. Once a tether is established, a minigame between the attacker and the victim starts. The attacker has to keep the ship pointed towards the victim, while the victim has to align with an escape vector. On the sides of the HUD you will see two bars. These bars show you how close you are to either winning or losing the interdiction. If you are being interdicted and win the minigame, the interdiction is aborted. The attacker emergency drops and has to wait for the long FSD cooldown before they can get back into Super Cruise. If you lose, however, both you and the attacker get emergency dropped. From then on, it is you and the attacker in the same instance for the duration of the long FSD cooldown. There is, however, also another outcome. During the minigame, you can choose to give up and slow down. This is known as submitting to an interdiction. Against players, this is usually the best choice, as players are way more competent at interdictions than NPCs. Submitting to an interdiction results in a regular drop. This means you get the short cooldown instead, and can start leaving the instance after just 5 seconds, as opposed to 40 seconds from a long cooldown. Interdictors come in different ratings and sizes. The only difference between them is their capture range. The game indicates this range in seconds. This might seem odd at first, as we are talking about distances, but what this basically means is that you are in range of pulling the target if you could get to their position within the defined duration. For this measurement, the game looks at your current possible maximum speed, which is defined by your distance to nearby gravity wells. To be able to interdict someone, you need to be behind them. A stock interdictor has a facing angle of 50 degrees. With engineering, the angle can be increased to as far as 110 degrees. At the cost of a reduced capture range and higher power consumption. Alternatively, you can get a long-range interdictor which will give you a longer capture range at the cost of a tighter facing angle. Note that you cannot pull a target if they are flying an orbital cruise around the planet. If the target flies into orbital cruise during the interdiction, the minigame gets aborted and both ships stay in Super Cruise, assuming they were not too quick when flying into orbital cruise. Also note that, for some reason, Frontier decided to give the Saud Kruger ships a hidden interdiction buff. This buff helps the Beluga, Orca and Dolphin to either escape or interdict another ship easier.